We welcome you inside the Queen City Sportsplex in Cincinnati, Ohio for this afternoon's TSCHL Conference Semifinal and a top 5 regional matchup between the 5th-ranked and the South 3C Kentucky Wildcats and the 4th-ranked and regular season TSCHL Champions and the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gage Odell, and now we are down to the Final Four in the TSCHL to see who will be crowned the new conference tournament champion this weekend after the reigning champs in the Indiana Hoosiers fell last night in the first round to Michigan. For Kentucky today, it's about continuing to make history. They have only beaten Miami 4 times in recent memory and have not yet made it to the conference final in their tenure in the TSCHL. For Miami, it's returning to their rightful throne atop the TSCHL landscape. They have won 4 of the last 5 regular season conference championships, but only 1 tournament championship in their last 4 appearances. For both teams, a win today will help tremendously in the final ranking next week. Both teams are pretty much guaranteed a first-round bye at regionals, but with an early Indiana loss and the ratings being so close together, one of these two teams could find themselves as the 3 seed come regional time. Now taking a closer look at this afternoon's team, starting first with a visiting team, the 3 seed out of the South Division and the 5th-ranked team in the Southeast region in the Kentucky Wildcats. On the year, they finished the regular season at they are now at 28-1, 10-1, 4-0 in the TSCHL in the regular season, which is the most wins they have ever collected in conference play. And it's the 4th time in 7 years under Coach Pergram that the Cats have crossed the 20-win mark. The Wildcats took a step up in terms of their scheduling out of conference as they traveled to Florida, but were swept by the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles. They started the season by splitting with Boston University, and then they went 4-1 against ACC teams after sweeping NC State, splitting with UNC, and knocking off Virginia Tech, while also winning a Louisville Showcase in the clash between the TSCHL and ACC. When it came to conference play, their only losses came by the hands of Indiana when they were swept on the road. Once to Miami on the road, and then turned around and knocked off the Hawks in overtime in Lexington, and more recently to the Ohio Bobcats. Kentucky did go 2-1 against Louisville, but the loss they had didn't affect the conference record as it was a one-off back in September in their 3-game series for the rivalry Bourbon Barrel. The Wildcats moved on to their second straight TSCHL semifinals by crushing Bowling Green yesterday 6-2 after a hat-trick performance from freshman Gabe Rodriguez and 2 goals from senior Brett Quinn. Now for some other top players, starting with the captain of Kentucky in Gabe D'Amico. On the year, he has 19 goals and 28 assists for 47 points. D'Amico has a career 174 points with 74 goals and 100 assists. Next for Kentucky is their top transfer in the former ACHA Division I Indiana Tech player and Cam Chabot. On the year, he has 20 goals and 34 assists for 54 points. Chabot has scored over 200 career points throughout all of his ACHA playing time. The top freshman for Kentucky this season is Nick Delaney. He has 14 goals and 14 assists for 28 points. Now in the crease for the Cats, using a 2-headed monster in the sophomores of Riley Allen and Arlie Cutler. On the year for Allen, he is 10-5 with a 2.4 goals against and a .916 save percentage. He's also picked up 2 shutouts this season. For Cutler, he's 9-3-1 after picking up the win yesterday with a 2.94 goals against and a .914 save percentage. He also has 2 shutouts this year and 3 for his career. Now moving on to the home team for this afternoon's contest. In the 4th-ranked team in the Southeast region, the 1 seed out of the South Division and the regular season TSCHL champs in the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. On the year, they are 22-9-1. They finished the TSCHL regular season at 13-0-1-1. On the season, they split series with teams like DePaul, this same Kentucky team, Bowling Green, Ohio, and Florida Gulf Coast. They were swept by the number 1 team in Division II in Lindenwood and were also swept by Liberty. The Redhawks went 2-1 in their own showcase by defeating Lake Superior State and Davenport, but fell to Salt College. One of their biggest series, though, on the year in terms of conference play was sweeping the Indiana Hoosiers and clinching their 4th regular season conference title in 5 years. Miami has been dominant in the regular season, but they've only won 1 tournament title in their tenure in the TSCHL, and they haven't crossed that nationals threshold since before COVID. But this Redhawk team is clicking at the right time of year, and the TSCHL bracket is starting to open up. But first, they will have to exact revenge against Kentucky from the last game they all played before they can think about moving forward in the season. Now for their top players, starting first with Gabe Dombrowski. He's a team leader in goals and points with 28 goals and 17 assists for 45 points in 27 games. He killed Kentucky in their series back in October by accounting for 4 goals in those 2 games. Following him is Michael McCormick. He is the only other Red Hawk with over 40 points on the season with 26 goals and 16 assists for 42 points in 31 games. Both Dombrowski and McCormick are averaging over a point a game, including this third forward in Eric Miller, who has a balanced 19 goals and 16 assists for 35 points. Now for the goaltenders, starting with their most played in Noah Kinzinger. He's appeared in 16 games for a 10-6 record, a 2.75 goals against, and an .897 save percentage. He didn't appear in the Kentucky series back in October. One who did, though, is Jack Roach. He's appeared in 7 games for a 5-2 record, a 3.11 goals against, and an .855 save percentage. He was a netminder in net for Miami's win over Kentucky in their home barn back in October, but he has not played since mid-November. Aiden Cron has appeared in 5 games for a 3-1-1 record, a 2.58 goals against, and an .849 save percentage. He picked up the overtime loss to Kentucky in Lexington, but he has not played since December. And finally, for the Miami netminders, it's Zach Waisman. He's a perfect 3-0 in 3 games with a 2.33 goals against, but a .741 save percentage. He's only appeared once this semester, and his 3 games have come against Dayton, Xavier, and Davenport. But his save percentage is that low due to shots not being added to the ACHA score sheet, as he posted apparently a 0-save shutout against Xavier. Now these 2 teams have met a couple of times in the recent years, more so since 2019. Since that year, Miami leads the series 4-2. Kentucky has only defeated Miami 4 times since at least 2000, and the Redhawks are looking to reclaim their crown in the TSCHL, while Kentucky is looking to make it to their first conference final in their tenure under the TSCHL banner. Both games this season were 1-goal games, with one going into overtime, so look for much of the same here this afternoon. But that'll do it for pregame here in Cincinnati. We have 2 minutes left until the end of warm-ups, so for now we'll take you back down to the ice for the remainder of the time, and then we'll be back for the start of the game. So don't go anywhere. It's the TSCHL Conference Semifinals between Kentucky and Miami, and it's coming up next, right after this. So here we go from Cincinnati in the first TSCHL semifinals of the day between Kentucky and Miami. We are guaranteed a South and North team in tomorrow's conference final. In net for Kentucky will be the sophomore from Lakewood, Colorado, in Riley Allen. He is 10-5 on the year with a 2.4 goals against and a .916 save percentage. For the Redhawks, in net will be Noah Kinzinger. He's 10-6 with a 2.75 goals against and an .897 save percentage. It'll be Miami, the home team on the scoreboard, in their cream-colored jerseys. It'll be Kentucky, and they're all black uniforms, as one of the officials was using a stick to clean some sort of ice, so probably a couple snowdrops of some sort. So Kentucky will be going right to left on your screen. Miami the opposite direction. It'll be Chabot and Dombrowski on for the opening face-off as we are underway. As Chabot got that back, but it's quickly sent down by Massey as D'Amico just floated it towards Chabot, but whistle quickly blown, and that'll bring a face-off back down near Riley Allen. Face-off to the left of Allen. Again, it'll be Chabot and Dombrowski. One back by the Hawks, but quickly shot through was Chabot. Banks a pass right to Cortapella. He'll send one behind the goal. D'Amico trying to pinch in. He gets around Frado. Left behind for D'Amico. He'll try to turn on it, but he sends it into the corner as Cortapella gets it right down to Chabot. Out in front towards Underwood. He'll launch one that's blocked. Sent in deep by the sophomore defenseman as that's loose to the left of the crease. And just kept in by Underwood as he gets it back in deep for Chabot. Here's Cortapella, but lost control of it. Trying to throw it out in front, and it goes off the leg pad of Kinzinger. It kicks off the foot of James. It's come back the other way. It's McCormick trying to get through the legs of Underwood and got denied. Passed out towards James, and that draws a penalty on the Redhawks. And James potentially could be getting himself one with that move. But it'll be Eric Miller going to the box as well as James. So it was going to be a Kentucky power play until that moment right there with James. Tough. So we'll be 4-on-4. Face off right down below with Hartwell and LaRue. One back by Hartwell to Kessing. Out to Cohen. Up the zone comes Kessing. Throw it right to Tim Burke, which goes off the body of LaRue. He'll get it back to Tim Burke. 4-on-4 hockey for the next minute 40. As the defenseman Tim Burke brings it across the blue line. Skates towards the inside. Looking for open space. Drops it off towards Rakitic. He'll fire one that deflects off the body of LaRue in front of Kinzinger. That one bounces in the air. Here's Rodriguez shooting and scoring. Gabe Rodriguez picking up where he left off yesterday in the first round. After 3 goals yesterday, he'll strike first as Kentucky takes an early 1-0 lead. Still 4-on-4 for the next minute 24. Miami wins the faceoff. It's brought back to Cohen. He'll retreat back behind Kinzinger. Across to Dombrowski. He'll take it the entire length. Tries to cut it. He'll fire one. A rebound chance goes directly through the slot as Kessing was right there. But O'Born picks up the loose puck, and he'll fire one on Kinzinger. that kicks out just to the hash marks of the left face-off circle. Now here comes Dombrowski crossing the center line, dumping it down. Allen will play it off to the side as the Cats try to play keep away from the Hawks. It's banked out of the zone by Underwood. And sent down towards Allen as it be picked up by Kyle Burke. Back around to Underwood. D'Amico with it, near side. Out towards Chabot as he got poked by Fratto. As Fratto takes it and quickly Chabot knocks it away from him. It's sent down to Simone. Back to Fratto as he'll bring it into the zone. Skates around. He'll fire one that deflects off of Colin Holtz into the netting and out of play. So 17-14 left here in the first. Still 4-on-4 for the next 12 seconds. It was that first Kentucky-Miami game this season where the Cats held a lead for most of the way. They were up by 2 most of the way against the Hawks before Miami had a third period surge to win it 5-4 in Oxford. And the same thing happened last season where the Cats were up by 2, and then Miami surged ahead late in that game to win it. As here comes a chance from D'Amico, fed from Cortapella that deflects off of Kinzinger. In comes Miller, fresh from the box as we're back to 5 aside as Tim Burke will hammer him into the boards, but draws a penalty. That'll be touched up. It'll be a boarding call against Tim Burke. Which, much to the dismay of some Kentucky coaches on that penalty. Tim Burke to the box. Leads to a Miami power play. The Kentucky penalty kill sitting at around 78.5% for the season, at least towards the end of the regular season as they clear that puck out. They finished the regular season killing off over 135 penalties and only getting scored on the power play about 29 times. So Dombrowski now near side, up to the point to Eber. Across to McCormick as that one is sent into the leg pads of Allen. And he'll fall down and cover. As that was a good chance from the Hawks. Just unable to get one on that attempt here in the first 36 seconds of their first power play attempt. Face off to the right of Allen, one back by the Hawks. It's Hartwell. Down to Dombrowski, throwing it out in front towards Miller. They get sent behind the goal. Back to Dombrowski, over to Miller. Dombrowski trying to cut in, lost the puck at the top of the crease, and it's cleared down by Kentucky. Kinzinger will just throw it off to the side to Eber. To Dombrowski, well across to Fratto. He lost it in his feet, but still brought it across the blue line and retained possession. Up top to Eber, quickly across to Dombrowski, up to Eber at the point. Fake the slap shot. Here's one from Fratto that glances off of Allen. Still at the point from Eber. He'll shoot and score. Bobby Eber, the sophomore defenseman, scoring one from the point on the power play. And Miami cashes in and ties us up at 1. So 15:07 left here in the first. Both teams with 5 shots apiece. And Kentucky's lead only lasting 2 minutes before this one gets tied up. as Costello takes the loose puck off the faceoff and dumps it in the zone. Miami got possession. Shinian picks up the loose puck as he'll try to turn and fire. Rakitic sends one down that deflects off the paddle of Kinzinger and out of play. Face off to the right of Kinzinger. Little tie up off the draw as Quinn couldn't get it. Here's Costello wide open that goes off the blocker of Kinzinger. And Schweitzer potentially had a breakaway, but he had to reach back and get that pass, and Miami will retreat in their defensive zone and reset. Out to Schweitzer. Quickly across. Miami playing it back around. As Anderson comes in for a huge hit on Shinian. Here's Devine. As Shinian still slowing, going to the bench. That one blocked by Allen. And he's rolling around in the crease as Anderson trying to pick the puck up. He backhands it up towards the slot. And Kentucky will control as Rodriguez's stick is stuck in the arms of Schweitzer. And had his hand up looking for one official to call anything. Doesn't get one. Cohen sends it to the Kentucky defense. Bounces off the stick of Rodriguez. He'll bring it across the blue line. He'll look, trying to rip one. Left it behind for Boyajian. He'll shoot one that goes off of LaRue. Roddy to Kyle Burke across to Boyajian. And Boyajian will roof that one into the netting and out of play. So face off, back to the right of Kinzinger. It's Hartwell and LaRue as it's one back to Underwood. He misplayed it. Here comes a breakaway from McCormick. He's skating in untouched. He'll shoot one that's saved by Allen. Here's one from Hartwell as he'll backhand it into the leg pads of Allen and covered. I said in pregame that the last couple of games between Kentucky and Miami have been close. Every game this season was a one-goal game, and this one shouldn't be any different. And in the first 6:45, both teams are evenly matched, and this is going to be one fun semifinal game. As D'Amico gets twisted and turned down, McCormick had the puck. He touched up, and the official Rob Lagler will call a trip on the Redhawks that will lead to the first power play for Kentucky as Miller will head back to the box. So that Kentucky power play has been struggling most of the second semester. They've only had, I believe, 2 or 3 power play goals all semester. They came in to January with a 31% power play unit. It's quickly dropped down to 27. But the power play unit from last night, and at least their first one, looked better than it had most of the year. But this one bounces out by towards Douglas in the neutral zone as he's trying to clear the puck. And Kyle Burke will bat it down towards Delaney. Delaney out to Knoll. Knoll cutting back through the zone. He'll leave it behind for Quinn. Quinn tossed it off in the corner, threw it off the leg of one hot. It's kept in the zone by Knoll. Across to Delaney. Delaney up to Burke. Back to Knoll. Back up top to Kyle Burke, who one time that goes off of Massey. Here's Delaney. Top of the blue line. Dumps it in the corners. LaRue plays it back towards Jack Knoll. Knoll got deflected on that one. Delaney shoots one right in the glove of Kinzinger as he drops it. It's loose in the blue paint. And the official comes down, but the puck is in front of Kinzinger. The net comes out of place in the Kentucky power play. Has come up empty in the first minute. Kinzinger will take his time getting up, take a breather. Power play unit has changed for Kentucky. They have 56 seconds left on their first attempt. It's tied up. Finally one back to Tim Burke. They'll get it down to Chabot. Here's Cortapella. Cortapella shoots one that glances off of Kinzinger into the corner. D'Amico with it. Down to Chabot. To Cortapella. Quickly out to Tim Burke. To D'Amico. Behind to Chabot. He'll bring it out towards the top of the face-off circle. Left it behind for Burke. To D'Amico. Back out top to Tim Burke. Back to Gabe D'Amico. He'll turn and fire one into the chest of Kinzinger and covered. 24 seconds left on Kentucky's first power play chance. Face off again to the right of Kinzinger. Miami wins back to face off as Cohen tries to bank it out of the zone and threw it into the netting. And that kills off 4 seconds from the remaining Kentucky power play. And we'll just re-rack in the same face-off circle with Dombrowski and Chabot. It's one back to Cortapella. Quickly passes it to Tim Burke. He'll bring it out to the center of the zone. He'll launch one that deflects off of Costello and just misses the post. D'Amico will shoot one into the chest of Kinzinger and covered. Nine seconds left of the power play chance. One back towards D'Amico. Riley Allen sounding the warning sounds. Cortapella shoots one that skyrockets into the netting, into the corner. So 11:05 left as Kentucky will just send out a normal line. And 2 seconds left on the power play chance. That'll be Chabot and Dombrowski on the draw. And they drop the puck. Whistle blew. Lagler will fix the net because apparently that came out of place at the last second. Face off one back as Kyle Burke launches one that deflects wide. Chabot will chase after it in the corner. Left it behind for Costello. Can't pass it up top as Dombrowski backhands it towards Douglas. Frado getting hounded by Chabot. Retreats back in the defensive corner. Miami still trying to break it out. Boyajian kept it in the zone. Here's D'Amico. Will turn on one and deflects off the stick of Kinzinger. Now here comes Miami back the other direction. Dombrowski will cross the center line. He'll dump. Douglas still chasing after it. D'Amico misplays it. Here's Kelly. He'll launch one that deflects off of Riley Allen. Douglas came in to try and get the rebound and had to jump away from a hit. And this one will get shot into the chest of Kinzinger by Delaney. He'll bounce off Kinzinger. He'll drop a glove down and cover with 10-11 left to play in the first. Face off one off to the side to Simone. Down to Kelly as Miami briefly turned it over and gained back possession. Here comes Miller as he will dump it all the way in. Allen tried to slow it down, but couldn't get there in time as Oborn saucers it out to Delaney. Backhands it, looking back for Oborn. And Oborn was just surrounded by too many in red as Hartwell brought into the zone. Kentucky, everybody calling for an offside, didn't get one, but Kentucky coming back the other direction. Delaney will cross the red line and dumps it off the body of Simone as Lauby battles for it. And Oborn throws Miller in the boards. It's kept in at the blue line by Kentucky. And quickly brought out by the Hawks as Costello rifled one down low. It's kept in by Quinn. Leaves it for Rakitic. He'll shoot one. It just misses. Tim Burke to Quinn. Quinn shoots one that hits off the post. It's bouncing at the top of the zone. Finally brought out by Anderson. He'll skate in. He lost control. He'll shoot one off the shoulder of Allen and into the net. So 8:48 to play in the first period. Still 1-1. Kentucky leading in the shot department 15-11. Face off to the left of Allen. One back by Kentucky as they're trying to quickly exit the zone. Here's Costello side swiping away from Schweitzer. And he will shoot one off of Lawrence. And a whistle's quickly blown for a play by High Stick.
Let's go, fellas.
Schweitzer gets a penalty for high sticking. Which will lead to the second Kentucky power play. They were 0 for 3 last night. Not entirely sure what Miami was, but they did score 8 goals against Dayton, so they had to at least score a couple, as the stat sheet wasn't uploaded to ACHA in time before this game. But Kentucky looking to put pressure on the Hawks as here's Tim Burke getting it down towards Chabot. He'll turn on one that just goes in the opposite corner. It's just kept in by D'Amico, but Massey clears it out. It's sent back in by D'Amico as the Cats get numbers back. So the Hawks can't get a breakaway opportunity. They'll just dump it and change out the PK unit. Here's Cortapella. Gets away from Frado. Skates the puck in by himself. Throws the brakes on. Banks it up off the wall to nobody as Frado throws it out towards Dombrowski. He'll skate in, throws it off of Tim Burke. And Tim Burke will just hold serve behind Allen. Burke gets it out towards Knoll. Across for D'Amico. D'Amico trying to get away from Lawrence, but got taken down by losing an edge, but Knoll keeps possession. Sauces it over to Chabot. Trying to look for a deflection. Knoll will shoot one that's just deflected by Lawrence, and the whistle will blow for the net getting kicked off. Miami trying to go for some changes. Got told no. So the face-off will be to the left of Kinzinger, as was one back by Miami, kept in by Delaney. So ring it around the boards. Here's Quinn. Trying to get up to Delaney and does. Delaney stuck up against the boards. Try to blindly shoot one that goes off of Cohen, and Cohen had his clearing attempt blocked. Here's LaRue. Spins around. Down to Delaney, back up towards LaRue. Across for Kyle Burke. Back to Delaney. 4 seconds left on the power play chance. Here's Delaney. Leaves it towards the slot. That's taken by Cohen. Here's a 3-on-1 chance as Hartwell comes in. Looks for Dombrowski, who got the tip towards Allen, but Allen sticks it aside. Cohen. Out to Hartwell. Back to Cohen. Will shoot one off the blocker of Allen. Miller sends it down, but it's deflected by Kyle Burke as it's sent up towards Cortapella, who will dump it into the zone for Kentucky. Cohen picking up the loose puck. Gets it across to Kessing. Up to Miller. Left behind for Hartwell. That was almost deflected away, but Hartwell bringing it into the zone as Tim Burke pokes it in the corner. It's thrown off the body of Rodriguez. Rodriguez getting poked by Miller, but kept possession. He'll turn around and look for an open spot. Dumps it down low. In comes LaRue against Kelly. LaRue and Kelly going at it as Kelly pushes him away. And that one gets sent into the netting and out of play. with 5.5 left in the first. Face-off will be to the left of Noah Kinzinger. It'll be Oborn. And Devine on for the draw. One back towards Laube as it bounced off the toe of his skates. He'll turn on one. That's loose just to the right of the crease as Delaney got blocked away from that rebound chance as Laube takes one down. Holtz got it off to Underwood as that deflects into the zone off Laube. Chased after by Simone. Leaves it behind for Kelly. Turned over. Here's Holtz. Dumps it into the corner. And that is cleared by the Hawks as Delaney will chase after loose puck. He'll backhand it over to Holtz. Holtz quickly across to Oborn. And that was well behind the center line, so it'll be an icing on Kentucky. .456 left to play here in the first period of a 1-1 game in the first TSCHL Conference Semifinal. Winner will take on the winner of Ohio and Michigan. That plays later tonight. Final will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock on this same sheet here at Cincinnati. That one centered up. Here's Lawrence. Shooting one that goes off the heel of Frado. A rebound chance goes wide off of Massey. Massey tried to throw it up towards Dombrowski, and it took a weird kick off of Oborn. And Dombrowski had to retreat and go back to get it as Oborn takes out Lawrence. And Kentucky clears it out of the zone, right to Hartwell at center ice. Dumped in by Eber. Picked up by Holtz. Holtz, long pass up for Quinn. Quinn on his horse trying to wave off the icing, and Kinzinger is there to clear the puck away from Quinn. Puck is loose as Quinn from the faceoff circle dumps it in behind the net. Chased after by James as James gets a touch on it and carries a puck and throws it in the corner as Quinn looking for an open lane. Thrown out front for Costello, who was right there back door, but couldn't get him close enough. Here's Quinn. Threw it off the body of a diving Lawrence to block that attempt. Here comes Hartwell. Taken away and turned over. Quinn shoots one in and out of the glove of Kinzinger. Still battled for as it bounces through the zone. Picked up by James. James trying to get it back to Costello, but it deflects away from him. And back comes Miami as Miller gets pinned to the boards. James pushing him out of the zone. Dumped in by the Hawks. Bouncing across the blue line as D'Amico knocks it back towards center ice. It's loose in front of the Kentucky bench as Anderson and Rodriguez are battling. Here comes Kessing. 2:45 left to play in the first. Chase after by Boyajian as he'll get turned down by Kessing. Somebody has lost their stick. One Wildcat. That looks like Chabot as Boyajian gets knocked in the boards but dumps the puck in as Cortapella hounded Ferguson. Or excuse me, Schweitzer. And Schweitzer gets the better of it as he gets the puck out just beyond the reach of Cohen on that dump in. And Tim Burke will send it the length of the ice all the way around the boards, just shy of the goal line as it's picked up by Lawrence. Frado got it through the legs of D'Amico. Skates it over to the far side. Trying to outrace Cortapella and knocks the stick out from Frado. Here's an attempt by Dombrowski that deflects off of Allen and gets sent behind. Here's D'Amico. Fires a puck down. And icing was waved off, thankfully, and the linesman called for it as D'Amico was a foot on top of the red line. Kept it at the blue line. And the linesman says no. As they said, Holtz didn't catch it before. So it'll be offside on Kentucky. And the Kentucky coaching staff is so unhappy with the linesman. So face-off over on the far face-off dot just beyond the blue line as LaRue gets it back towards Underwood across the knoll. Knoll sends one down on Kinzinger, and he will cover with 1:24 left in the frame. Face-off to the right of Kinzinger. It'll be LaRue and Hartwell. One off to the side by Kentucky. Holtz to Underwood. Underwood shoots one just wide. He was the hero in the Miami overtime win back in October. And that one deflected by by Knoll just beyond the reach of McCormick, thankfully, as that one could have been a bad tip. Centered out in front towards Hartwell, but Eber will be the first one to touch it, deflects it out of the zone towards Cohen, back towards Eber. LaRue hammers Eber into the boards, and Kentucky will regain possession with under a minute left to play. Cohen comes in and picks that pass off, and he tries to center it up for McCormick. It's loose out in the slot as Hartwell picks it up, skates it over to the far side. He'll turn, he'll shoot one that deflects off the skate of McCormick and send it to the near corner. Bounces towards Miller at the top of the blue line. Threw it right towards Underwood. Throws it off the boards towards Knoll, who gets it across for Rodriguez, brings it in. Rodriguez turns, backhands one. That's deflected wide by Kinzinger. Underwood dumps it around for Eber with 18 seconds. Cohen to Miller. Bounce pass to McCormick. He'll just flip it into the zone to dump. And it seems like both teams are just okay with taking this to intermission. So the buzzer will sound to end period one. The Cats struck first thanks to a 4-on-4 goal from Gabe Rodriguez. And quickly after that, and by mean quickly, I mean 2 minutes later, it was the sophomore defenseman Bobby Eber cashing in on a point shot on the power play to tie us up at 1. So with that, before we head to the Stay Tuned music, we'd like to announce the MVP of the TSCHL this season, going to a player in the South Division from the Indiana Hoosiers, and Ethan DiLorenzo. So Ethan DiLorenzo is your MVP in the TSCHL this season. So congrats to DiLorenzo, as well as last night's award winners and the Coach of the Year, and Andrew Weiss and Ryan Brown. So IU quickly winning a lot of awards in conference this year, as well as they should, because they've had a phenomenal season. So with that, we'll take you back to the Stay Tuned music. It's 1-1 at the end of one. We'll be back in about 15 minutes, right after this. All right, getting ready to go for period 2 here from Cincinnati in the first TSCHL Conference Semifinal between Kentucky and Miami. It's 1-1 in a tie game. On your scoreboard, Kentucky took the early 1-0 lead thanks to freshman Gabe Rodriguez scoring his 4th goal of the weekend. And then it was Bobby Ebert on the power play, tying us up at 1. And that was just in the first 5 minutes. Kentucky leading in your shot department 20-16. Kentucky 0 for 2 in the first period on the power play. Miami 1 for 1 as we're back underway for the second. As Kentucky trying to gain possession, but Massey picks up the puck at center ice and dumps it all the way around. Frado will pick it up as he got shouldered from the back by Rakitic. His first game back after some time. He hasn't played since the Louisville series. As Laube, good job to cut off Ebert and keep the puck in the corner as Oborn kicks it out towards Laube. He'll look out, finds Delaney at center ice. Delaney 1-on-3 and gets hip checked into the boards by Lawrence. The clock is not running. Somebody pay attention to the clock. As that one is shot off, here's a second attempt and it goes in for Kentucky. It's Cortapella giving the Cats a 1-goal lead. That's Cortapella's first goal in his last 10 games. And the Cats go back on top 2-1. I would tell you how much time is left, but 2 seconds ticked off, and it hasn't changed in probably about 45 to 50 seconds. And I think that's Rob Lagler and the other Bandit official in there talking to a scoreboard operator. There could be some issue with the score panel. It played out well in one of the junior games that happened before our game. And Lagler will come over and talk to the Kentucky sideline about the clock. So we got a little bit of a delay as we figure out how much time is left. They still haven't added the 2 up for Kentucky yet. So they're probably trying to figure out what is going on with the score panel. So if what I heard behind me was correct, the score panel itself is running the clock off on the scoreboard thingy, whatever it's called, where the score operators are at. It's just not connecting to the scoreboard itself. So good luck to me in keeping the time. Here's Cortapella rifling one again. This one time it goes into the glove of Kinzinger. So good luck to the rest of us figuring out how much time is left. For those watching, I usually do these games solo, so I don't have a producer. I don't have a team with me. I have scratches that we have at Kentucky to operate the camera. I run the sound, the computer, the scoreboard. So with all the hats I'm trying to juggle and do stats, as Chabot sends that one on a deflection just wide of the post. Cortapella gets it out. Here's James shooting one into the glove of Kinzinger. So with all the hats I juggle, I don't run the clock on the scoreboard, so I just make it say second period, because 99.9% of the time of the rinks we go to, and especially our home barn, The scoreboard usually always works. This is the first time in 95 games or so that I've called where the scoreboard doesn't work. So good luck to everybody else. Here's Kyle Burke dumping one down. It glances off the side of the net as it's picked up by Chabot over in the corner. It kicks up towards the blue line. It's sent back down towards Lawrence as it kicks out towards the neutral zone. Batted back by Devine, just out of reach of Anderson. Cortapella gets it across the blue line to Chabot. Chabot will send one off the leg pads of Kinzinger. D'Amico back towards Cortapella. Out top looking for Boyajian. And he couldn't get a stick down to catch up to it. Douglas out races to him towards the puck. Avoids a hit. Tries to center it up for Eber. He'll shoot one that glances off the post. Douglas sends it down all the way around the boards towards Anderson. Anderson had Devine calling for it. Anderson lost an edge, and it's taken by Costello. Potential 3-on-2 for Kentucky as Costello holds it. Look out for D'Amico at the top of the crease. Kyle Burke will launch one into the chest of Eber as he brings the puck down. Taken by Tim Burke and softly passes it back up. Lawrence up to Eber. Tries to cut around away from Costello and just got it off to Massey. Massey's pass was blocked by Tim Burke. Chinian dumps up towards the blue line. It's that one deflects from Eber off of Massey, and just like that, we're tied at 2. Hey, the scoreboard's working again. So Bobby Eber fired one towards Riley Allen. It just glances off the senior Jack Massey. And it's 2-2. I said the scoreboard was working again, but it went from 1958 to 1723. So who knows? As that one, it deflects from Jack Knoll from LaRue, as Knoll fed LaRue perfectly. But Kinzinger kept the door shut and keeps us tied at 2. So there's somewhere around less than 17 minutes left in the second period. As that finds Dombrowski at center ice. Knoll will try to wrap him around. Frado comes in. He'll shoot one that just bounces wide. Tim Burke will hold. Still holding. Passes it around to Rakitic. He'll get one down to Knoll. As Knoll getting attacked by Dombrowski against the boards. Picked up by LaRue as he'll dump it in. Tied up in the corner. Sent into the netting by Kelly and out of play. So there's around 16-20 left. So I guess the scoreboard is working at odd times. Cats win the draw. Here's Underwood finding Rodriguez as he'll turn around and fire one well wide. Picked up by McCormick. Quickly across to Frado. Frado spin around pass looking for Dombrowski. That's picked off by Kentucky. Here comes Rodriguez. Cuts over to the far side. Throwing the brakes on. Finds Underwood. He'll cut in. He'll shoot one that's deflected off of Kinzinger. Holtz can't control the puck. And it's kicked out of the zone by McCormick. Down to LaRue. LaRue to Rodriguez. To Knoll, who's looking for Rodriguez. And instead fires it over to the far side. And Holtz trips up McCormick. Here's Dombrowski shooting one well wide. Picked up by Simone. Gets it across as the extra attacker is on for Miami. McCormick to Eber. Another chance from Simone in front. Deflected off of Riley Allen. And a penalty is coming up on Colin Holtz. Sometimes there are dumb penalties And then there's sometimes smart penalties. Holtz was somewhat of a smart penalty. There's going to be a 2-on-0 breakaway, and Holtz just threw the stick out, tripped up McCormick, and gives Miami their second power play. And who knows how much time is left in the game. The power play is going to be up on the board at some point. So McCormick controlling the face-off. Here's Hartwell. And that's offside as Eber played it behind the blue line. McCormick talking to Hartwell. And so there's 15:08 left in the second. And Coach Pergram noticed the penalty finally popped up on the board, and the score operator has accidentally put it at a 3-minute penalty. So there's 10 seconds gone from that power play start as that puck gets cleared by Kentucky down the Kinzinger. Here's Dombrowski. Hartwell to Miller. Back to Hartwell. He'll spin around towards the top of the zone and threw it off of Cortapella. Eber trying to chase after it. Cortapella dove for it. And if Miami could have controlled that puck, they could have had numbers, but here comes Cortapella short-handed, trying to go wrap around. It's kept out by Kinzinger. That would have been Kentucky's first short-handed goal since November. But they got denied by the senior netminder for the Hawks. So at some point, Colin Holtz will come out of the box. I don't know when, because the scoreboard is not working. Miami brings it into the zone just a few feet across the blue line. It's still battled for as Miller grabs it in the face-off circle. It's a bouncing puck that's loose in between three black jerseys. It bounces out towards Dombrowski. Up towards Hartwell at the top. Back to Dombrowski. Cutting in. He'll shoot one that rings off the post. And Cortapella clears it down the ice. Here comes Hartwell. Looking towards the penalty box, see when Holtz comes out. Here's a one-time chance from Hartwell after he was fed by Douglas. And Riley Allen slams the door shut. So there's 13:26 left in the second. There's about 12 seconds left on the Colin Holtz penalty. Kentucky trying to keep Miami from being perfect on the power play. And official came over and talked to the Kentucky coaching staff. But here's Anderson. He'll shoot one. That's saved by Allen as a pair of Hawks are down in their own offensive zone. D'Amico threw the brakes on, and the door should be open, but it's offside by Kentucky as Chabot was well down, and the power play has expired as Holtz goes on to the bench. So we have somewhere around 13 minutes left. Officials still talking to the scoreboard operator. It looks like somebody from the Queen City Sportsplex is over there in their corner. Has to be the antenna that's acting funny if it just comes in and pops in randomly. Just not communicating with the actual scoreboard. It's always fun times in the ACHA. Every day is a different day. So a little bit of delay now as we try to fix the scoreboard, I guess. So still in a delay as now the Holtz power play is off the board, but his number's still there. The score just disappeared. It says there's 13-12 left to play. Well, this is always fun. So it's 2-2. Scoreboard says 0-0. Theoretically correct, but also wrong. I accidentally opened up the YouTube stream, so I started hearing my voice in the background, which was awkward. Well, looks like the Queen City Sportsplex guy has a radio. So the officials are kind of huddled up in that Miami penalty box. Coach Clay slowly walking over that direction, but just talking to the backup goaltenders. Miami breaks away from their huddle. And looks like the scoreboard has been reset now, because now we're back in the first period. Even though you all can't see it, since the camera is pointed towards center ice. Nope. We've got a ticking clock now. It's able to go and stop, so it seems like the Queen City Sportsplex guy has fixed it. As the Kentucky social media girls behind me are keeping track on a timer. That would work. If only you had the cowbells here with you to ring it to signal the end of the period. There you go. All right. So the scoreboard is back up and working. There's 13-14 left in period 2. And somehow it's 9-2 Kentucky on that scoreboard. But it's, oh, there it goes back. So we're finally free from the delay of fixing the scoreboard. So we reset with 13-14 left in period 2 of a 2-2 game. Both teams evenly matched. Trying to move on to the conference final tomorrow afternoon. As that shot is sent on goal by Cohen. And it was blocked away by Riley Allen. Knocked into the zone by Kentucky as Chabot in the corner has it poked away from him. It's sent out towards Devine. And Anderson just kept his foot on the blue line. Devine over in the corner, gets it up top to Cohen. Cohen looking for space. He'll shoot one that goes off the blocker of Allen. It's stuck in the corner. Chabot trying to whack at it. Kessing gets it down to Hartwell behind the goal. It kicks out to Cortapella. He'll saucer one off the glove hand of Anderson as James and Anderson collide and crash down, and it's off on the Hawks. So 12-15 left officially. Face-off will be right down in front of us. It'll be Hartwell and Brett Quinn. One off to the side towards Chinian as he got it up towards Costello. Costello's got Chinian to his left, and Chinian gets pushed away from his position by Simone. Kicks out to the feet of Miller. He'll hammer one off the boards. That scares a kid behind the glass. Here's McCormick trying to go for a wraparound attempt. That's kicked away by Allen. Kicks out to Simone at the top. He'll get it down low to Hartwell. Quickly across to Kelly. He'll shoot one in and out of the glove of Allen. And Allen will just drop his glove back down and cover as Boyajian and Miller were pushing back and forth to Allen's left. Face off to the left of Allen. It'll be Hartwell and LaRue. One back by LaRue. Kicked out towards Rodriguez as it just bounced under his stick. It goes the length of the ice to the left of Kinzinger. And it'll be covered by an icing call on Kentucky. So we'll all retreat back down to the other end, back to the left of Allen. And Hartwell and LaRue will re-rack off the draw. This time, one back by Miami. There's a quick shot by Kelly that goes well wide. It'll be picked up by Rodriguez. Rodriguez cuts around Miller. He's getting down the far side. He'll turn in, try to get it out towards LaRue. He got it to him, but not as well as he wanted to. Here's a shot by Knoll that glances off of Kinzinger and kicks up to Hartwell. Miller at center ice gets tripped up, and no call. Much to the dismay of the Miami coaching staff. Except here comes LaRue the other direction. Leaves it behind. Looked for Rodriguez, but Schweitzer picked it off. Simone got it back to Hartwell, and a hand pass will be called on the Hawks. As Dombrowski talks to Lagler off in the back. He'll come out for the face-off with Oborn. Face-off goes back to Ebert as he looks for Frado. Gets pushed against the boards, and it's cleared down by Underwood. Lawrence will get to it. It's behind the Miami net and finds Frado up the near side. Backhands it over to Dombrowski. Across on a quick shot attempt. That's deflected and saved by Allen. It's now Douglas behind the goal, looking for open space. Nobody. And White in front. Out towards Frado at the blue line. Across to Lawrence. Lawrence, his attempt is blocked by Lauby. Douglas gets poked away by James. Now he gets tied up into the boards before he gets it back towards Lauby as Delaney's stick gets knocked from him by Ebert. Here's a turnover by Kentucky, but Dombrowski's stick breaks. That's a lucky break. No pun intended for Kentucky. As Oborn's pass to Lauby is deflected. Here comes Massey. Massey looked out for Schweitzer, and that one was blocked as Frado gets pushed off the puck by Delaney. Delaney takes a loose puck, fires it towards Kinzinger as the Kentucky Wildcats go for some changes as we've hit the under 10-minute mark here in the second. Bounces off of Ebert, still kept into the zone by Kentucky as Chabot knocked it off of D'Amico. Here's Cortapella firing one well off to the side. Knocked out of the zone as Kyle Burke tried to dump it in, but sent it into the net and out of play. Face-off tied up. One back towards Boyajian as Kyle Burke was also trying to go after the loose puck. Gets it out towards D'Amico, who steps aside from a hit from Massey. Schweitzer threw it right at Chabot. Chabot will bank it off the near boards, and it'll be played by Kessing. Schweitzer lost it in his feet. Just found Anderson at the hash marks and couldn't control the puck. Here's Cortapella. Try to bank it up towards D'Amico, but it found Chabot. played forward in the corner. Sent to the opposite corner as Miami tries to clear out of the zone, and they can't. Here's Cortapella again. Fires one off the shoulder of Kinzinger, and it kicks out of the zone as Kyle Burke will retreat and gather. Up towards Cortapella as he'll deflect it in as Kentucky goes for some changes once more. Kyle Burke will shoot one towards Kinzinger as that one kicks out towards Anderson. Anderson at center ice as Quinn comes in and takes the puck away. Skates in a defensive zone. Fired it up towards Chinian. Chinian's got the loose puck. He'll skate in. He'll fire one that's kicked aside by Kinzinger. Kessing with the puck behind. Left it for Cohen. Out to McCormick. Stood behind Anderson. Brings the puck into the zone. Will bounce it off the boards behind the net. Brings it off to the opposite corner. He'll turn and fire it off the boards into the net and into that small crowd behind. And the fan nicely throws the puck back. 7:32 left to play in period 2. Still tied. Playing out just like the first period did. Both teams scoring in the first 5 minutes of the period. And then it's just a tight battle. The next 15. Rakitic up towards center ice. Taken by Hartwell. Behind the back pass to Miller. To McCormick. He'll shoot one that gets deflected and sent into the corners. Chinian swipes at it and clears it out of the zone. Hartwell at center ice trying to avoid Chinian. Chinian trying to avoid not tripping Hartwell. And it's played off to the side of Rakitic by Riley Allen. And we have a cross-check penalty upcoming probably on Kentucky, and it is. It'll be Chinian heading to the box for 2 minutes, which will lead to the third power play for the Hawks. Dombrowski and Chabot on the draw. Won by the Hawks as McCormick tries to dump it in, threw it to Hartwell. Hartwell will bring it across the blue line. Down to Dombrowski. Up top to Eber. Eber with a point shot, this time saved by Allen. And Burt picks up the rebound and tosses it into the corner. Hartwell up to McCormick, but it was deflected by D'Amico, and he'll kick it out of the zone and clears it down to Kinzinger. 90 seconds left on the Miami's third power play attempt. Here's Eber to Dombrowski. Cuts back up towards center ice, gets away from D'Amico, gets knocked down and lost at edge, and Chabot clears it down. Here comes the Miami power play unit once more. Miller quickly across to Dombrowski. He lost control of the puck briefly, so he'll bring it back up towards the top. Now he'll cut back in. He'll look, steps aside, trying to from Tim Burke. He'll cut back up to the top of the faceoff circle, up to Eber at the point. Back to Dombrowski. He'll shoot one. That's gloved down by Allen and sent the length of the ice by Rodriguez. Right towards Kinzinger as Miller and Rakitic hit the deck next to Allen. Rodriguez picked that puck off, got it to Rakitic, and Rakitic will draw a penalty from Miller as Riley Allen flying towards the bench to bring an extra attacker on. It will be touched by Kinzinger to bring us to 4-on-4. And I think they are calling elbowing on Miller. Coach Pergram wants a 5-minute on Miller. They are discussing. There's 5:36 left, so Coach Pergram still wanting a 5-minute, and I don't think this time it's going to happen. So 5:36 left. We're 4-on-4 for 27 seconds. And then Kentucky's third power play chance will be a little abbreviated. So the face-off to the right of Kinzinger. Face-off controlled by Kentucky. It's played down to D'Amico. He'll bring it around the face-off circle. Throws it, breaks on, trying to get around Kessing. Just threw it behind Chabot, but it'd be picked up by Cortapella. Back down to D'Amico. Lost the puck in between some white jerseys, and it'll be brought out by Cohen. 10 seconds left, 4-on-4. Cohen, nice step aside, gets it off to Frotto. Look back for Cohen, but just dumps it off in the corner. Kessing dumps the puck back down, and Kentucky's now on the power play for the next 90 seconds. Cortapella quickly up, tape to D'Amico. Top of the zone to Cortapella. Cortapella will shoot one well wide, bounces away from Chabot. Tim Burke pinches in, gets it back to Chabot. Chabot trying to quickly pass it back, because they're just trying to play keep away from Douglas and Cohen. That's taken by Kessing, thrown up to the top of the zone as Cortapella kept it in, and it's poked away by Douglas. Kentucky has to reset. Here's D'Amico, bringing it in. Skates it wide and hands it off to Chabot. Up top to Cortapella, back towards Chabot. Throws it off the leg pads of Kinzinger, and it's cleared out of the zone by Frotto. Cortapella with the puck. Tosses it off to Tim Burke. Gets it out. Here comes LaRue skating in. He gets knocked away from his shooting zone by Kessing, and whistle blows, and it looks like the net has come off again, which will put a pause for a brief second on the Kentucky power play. So 3:59 left in the second. If you can see that, I know it says period 1, but this is definitely the second period. Delaney sends one into the glove of Kinzinger. So 17 seconds left on Kentucky's third power play chance. They have come up empty so far today. They've come up, they're currently over 5 on the power play this weekend here in the conference tournament. As LaRue sends that one off the boards. It was loose, and it goes into the netting right in front of the bleachers and out. And the linesman tried to get it out of the net and got denied, but a nice fan will hand it to him. So face off to the left of Kinzinger. It'll be Quinn and Dombrowski with 12 seconds left on Kentucky's power play. One back to Kyle Burke. Across to Delaney. He'll send one off the pads of Kinzinger, and he'll cover as LaRue is trying to find any way to see the black piece of rubber under Kinzinger to poke it home. If that's right, I think Kentucky's only had 10, both teams have only had 10 shots on goal this period, but scoreboard was not working correctly for about 7 minutes. So I don't know if they tallied everything in that time frame, but we'll just go with it. We'll roll as Kyle Burke shoots one that goes off of Eber out in front. Power play expires as Boyajian gets hammered in the boards by Miller. Miller almost got pushed off the puck, and Cortapella pokes it away, and Boyajian will knock it out of the zone. Eber will gather it right below. It's slowed down by Allen as he'll hand it off to Burke. Up to Cortapella. Soft pass up top to Chabot. Left behind for D'Amico. Back to Chabot. Back towards D'Amico. Cortapella picking up the loose puck, knocking it up to Underwood. Underwood will send it back down towards Chabot. Cortapella to D'Amico as he got knocked off and away from the puck, and it'll be brought out by McCormick, but he has it turned over by D'Amico, and he'll knock it in to the attacking zone as Kinzinger threw it right to Kentucky, but that was quickly shut down by Lawrence. It's off into the corner. Chase after by Knoll. Chabot cuts in front. Shoots one that goes off of Kinzinger. Underwood banks it up off the boards. Hits the back of the net. Chabot quickly trying to clear it out. Here's James. To Chabot. To Knoll. To Underwood. Looking for space. Sends it in the corner. James picks it up off the rebound. Here's Rodriguez. Underwood. Back to Rodriguez. He'll turn and fire one. It's loose in the blue paint. Chabot scores! Chabot knocks it home. His 20th of the season, and the Cats take a 3-1 or 3-2 lead. To Kentucky, but there's 2 minutes left in the frame, so hold your breath, because it seems like both times, or the first 2 times Kentucky scored, Miami has come right back and scored within 2 minutes as Dombrowski throws that one off the left leg pad of Allen, as I just about jinxed it. And without not even 2 minutes and 7 seconds, as Rakitic and Rodriguez tag team on a hit that sends one Miami player down, and the whistle will blow for the down Hawk right below us. And I think, well, I was going to try to figure out who. I could have sworn it might have been Dombrowski, but I wasn't clearly paying attention. Miami's trainer will come out. The officials are talking off to the side if that was a penalty, but it was a combined hit from Rakitic and Rodriguez. Didn't necessarily see any or any of all head contact. It was just 2 runaway trains combining from either side into one. So the injured Miami player seeking some attention right below us. The officials talking off the left-hand side. There's 1:42 left to play here in the second period. So if there's any penalty occurring on that, we will find out here shortly. Miami sure is wanting one. They were hollering from their sideline. The officials will go out into the referee circle, and they will talk to the scoreboard operator, and it seems like there will be a potential penalty. And it is Simone will get helped off, and Rakitic will receive a 5-minute misconduct. Much to the dismay of Coach Pergram, standing there staring at the officials. It'll be Alex Rakitic going to the box for a 5-minute. We'll assume it's head contact. So the officials finished talking to the captains for both teams. They'll skate over and talk to Coach Pergram, asking why it's a 5-minute. The Miami coach hollering at the officials, telling them to stop talking to the Kentucky sideline. Kentucky's just trying to get an explanation. Kinzinger shaking his head towards his 5 players on the ice. So, danger time for Kentucky. And Rakitic will leave the ice. So, thankfully, Kentucky, they normally go with 13 forwards and 6 defensemen. Today, they went with 12 and 7. I think it's only the second time this year that Kentucky has gone 12 and 7. And at least they did that. So it's a 5-minute power play for the Hawks, their 4th one of the afternoon. And they can score power play goals aplenty here the next little bit. Eber to Dombrowski. This could be a game-changing power play. Dombrowski fires one into the netting behind the American flag and out of play. So minute 14 is all that's left in this second period. There's 4:32, we'll call it, on the power play. Eber, far side, brings it across the blue line to McCormick. Quickly across to Dombrowski. Has to collect himself after that pass. So does Eber. He'll get it to McCormick. McCormick top the face-off circle, getting hounded by Laube. Floating puck finds Eber. Cross to Dombrowski. Back up top to Eber. Sidesteps Laube. And throws that one. That's deflected by Underwood, but Miami maintains possession. Eber leaves it for Dombrowski. Skating in. He'll skate behind the goal. Tim Burke trying to cut him off and does. But Kentucky can't get the puck. Here's Eber. Gets it away from McCormick. Eber hammers one off of Oborn. Oborn chasing after the loose puck. Looking for a shorthanded chance. He'll throw the brakes on. Tries to cut up in front and throws one off of Kinzinger. 13 seconds left. Miami has numbers. It's 4-on-2, but Kentucky comes back and gets back and evens it up. 3 seconds left in the period, and that will be the end of period 2. So Kentucky gets 2 goals in the period, 1 from Cortapella, 1 from Cam Chabot, and the senior Jack Massey got the second one for Miami, but Kentucky heads in the locker room going towards the final period, leading 3-2, but they will have to kill off 3 minutes and 17 seconds of this 5-minute major to start the period, and this could be a game-changing power play or penalty kill to send one of these guys into this conference final tomorrow. But that's for about 15 minutes from now. We will take you back to the Stay Tuned music brought to you by our streaming partner from Black Dog Hockey that we at Kentucky Hockey use. So enjoy the sultry sounds from them. I'll see you in about 15 minutes for the start of the third period here in the TSCHL Conference Semifinals between Kentucky and Miami. Getting ready for the third period here in the first TSCHL Conference Semifinal between Kentucky and Miami. The Cats lead the Hawks 3-2 on your scoreboard, but the Redhawks have a 5-minute power play they are working on, which they have 3 minutes and 17 seconds left on. So, as I mentioned towards the end of the second, this could be a game-changing special teams play that could decide the winner of this final. And a little correction on the last goal. I said it was Chabot. It was most definitely Jack Knoll. So sorry, Jack. I'm sure I'll hear about that later when he goes back and watches, that I missed his 4th of the season. But we're going to start off the third with Miami on the power play, trying to finish off this 5-minute to try to tie and take the lead. Eber comes in. He'll fire and scores. And just like that, Eber has his 2nd of the night. Another power play goal for Miami, and we are tied at 3. And there's still 3 minutes and 2 seconds left on the power play. Miami brings it back behind their goal. Eber out to McCormick. Gets away from Oborn. Brings it in the attacking zone around Kyle Burke. Skates to the other corner. And it's cleared out by D'Amico. Kinzinger, outlet pass up to Hartwell. Across to Miller. Cuts through the zone and dives across as he lost an edge. But Miami keeps the possession in the zone. Played over to the corner to Dombrowski. To McCormick. Centered up in front for Cohen, and couldn't control the hot pass, and Kentucky clears it out. 2:14 left on this long power play. Dombrowski has to retreat, throws it across to Cohen. Cohen dumps it in. Kyle Burke gives chase and hammers it out of the zone, but only makes it up towards center ice before Lawrence throws the stick down. Hartwell gets shoved into the boards by LaRue, but dumps the puck in. Kyle Burke will take the puck, and LaRue takes a swipe at it before Hartwell could get it. And Kentucky again clears it. 1:44 left on this power play chance for Miami. Their 4th one of the afternoon. As Dombrowski was going off for a change, the puck was sitting right in front of the Miami bench. And he just stays on and plays it. And now he goes for a change, and again, the same thing. Here's Kentucky shooting one, and Rodriguez just misses. .110 left on this power play chance as Douglas kicks it out towards the neutral zone. LaRue got a stick down on it. Underwood will give chase behind his own net. He picks it up. He reps it around the boards. Kept in by Frado. It's loose at the top of the faceoff circle. Kicks out to Douglas, but he can't control it. He cuts James off. Gets it up to Eber. Back down to Douglas. Douglas gets the puck up from underneath the official. Brings it up to the opposite side. Out to Frado. Frado across to Eber. Quickly back across to Douglas, but it goes off the boards, off his shoulder, back down to a stick. Now it's Eber shooting one. Looking for a deflection from Lawrence out in front, but it goes wide left of the goal. 34 seconds left on the power play chance. Frado dumps it in. Lawrence plays it to the opposite corner. Laube clears it out of the zone with 20 seconds left on the power play chance. Last gasp for Miami on this 5-minute major. Bounced up to McCormick on a beautiful bounce. A shot attempt goes just wide, and it kicks out of the zone, and that ends the power play for Miami. Just one goal on that 5-minute power play, which is somewhat good news for Kentucky. It could have been a lot worse. But here comes a chance now as Chabot's got it. Turns the brakes on, gets it towards D'Amico, and the deflection just goes wide. And it kicks up to Tim Burke. Bounces across the blue line, and Kentucky will retreat. Holtz gets the deflection from D'Amico into the zone. Play to Kelly. He'll spin around. Holtz will pinch in. Trying to get it back towards D'Amico. Cortapella behind the goal. Centers it up for D'Amico, and it's deflected away. Right out to Hartwell. Stutter steps around Tim Burke and eats a hit into the plexiglass. D'Amico plays it deep in the defensive zone. Chabot will chase out a loose puck behind Allen. It's played out of the zone by Kentucky. Right to Kessing, who fires it in. And that played into the net. It rolled across the net, but just ever so perfectly to where nobody called it. And it's an icing on Kentucky as Cats were trying to put some changes up, but the officials are talking about it in the face-off circle, and they have decided it's still an icing. So Kentucky leading in your shot department, 36-27 at the moment, which is really odd considering that Miami had that 5-minute power play. As one Wildcat gets taken down, and Jake Laube, and in comes Delaney, hammering Cohen down. Back on the other end, it's Boyajian pushing Schweitzer off the puck. The puck is pinned. As Laube brings it out, he'll get tripped up, taken down. It's pinned right in front of us with Delaney and Laube, Schweitzer, and Devine. As Devine gets it in the attacking zone, but Boyajian will pick it up to Kyle Burke. Back over to Boyajian. Cats missing one defenseman for the rest of this game as Rakitic got sent an early shower after the 5-minute major. He was assessed. Here's Laube skating in. Tries to get it through Kinzinger, but takes a dive, and it plays off to the side. Here's Delaney. Looked out for Boyajian, but both him and Kyle Burke missed it. Boyajian dove for it and trying to keep it away from Anderson. Anderson shoots one just wide as the net looks like it has come off. Nobody's blown the whistle. Here's Dombrowski firing one off of Allen, and it's cleared out of the way by Boyajian. That's kicked by Kyle Burke as Oborn misplayed it to Costello. Here comes Douglas back the other direction. He'll get tag team away from the puck as Dombrowski fired it into the corner. Here comes Lawrence. Lost the puck. Taken by Costello. 4-on-2 potential for Kentucky as Costello skating wide. His pass attempt was blocked down by Frotto. And it's cleared out of the zone. James will pass it out to Underwood. Underwood dumps it all the way down. Chased after by Lawrence. Played around just past Eber. To Frotto, back to Eber. Out center ice to Dombrowski, who got shouldered by James but kept possession. Dombrowski, a one-time chance by Eber on the doorstep. As Quinn and Eber hit the deck just next to Allen. The puck went over to the near side. Net came out of place, and the whistle has blown. .37 left in this TSCHL Conference Semifinal between Kentucky and Miami. The first game between these two teams in October was a 5-4 final in favor of Miami up in Oxford. The second game of that series was a 3-2 overtime victory for Kentucky and Lexington. This is the first time these two teams have met in the conference tournament. Here's LaRue skating in, got poked by Kessing. He'll wrap it around the goal. It's loose out in front as Rodriguez was on the doorstep. But Kinzinger tosses the glove down on top of it with a body out in front of Cohen. And a little pushing and shoving out front. And everybody getting broken apart, taken away. And the face-off will now be to the right of Kinzinger. It'll be Hartwell and LaRue. One off to the side by LaRue as Jack Knoll dumps it even further. It's played out to the top. to Holt. He'll send one on the blocker. It deflects off of LaRue towards Knoll. And Knoll trying to center back up for LaRue. LaRue getting attacked by Hartwell and got hip checked into the boards. Played out right to Knoll on turnover. He'll fire one, looking for a deflection from LaRue. That goes wide. Rodriguez kept it in, bounces it off Miller. Miller plays it across the blue line. As Holtz takes it at the neutral zone. Cats were off. They had to jump back on as Tim Burke has it taken away briefly by Hartwell. LaRue fires it off the far boards. Miller will pick it up towards Schweitzer as Schweitzer eats a shoulder from LaRue. Tim Burke gets it across and tried to dump it in. Massey missed on a hit, and everybody in Miami colors screams offside. The linesman agrees, and we'll have the face-off right in front of us with 12:28 left to play. It'll be Dombrowski and Chabot, the two top lines on the ice. Which one will gain an advantage? It'll be Miami on the draw. Lawrence threw it off the stick of Cortapella, which bounced right to Douglas as Douglas dumps it in. Dombrowski cuts off Boyajian, but the puck flies away from him. Frado briefly had it. Cortapella plays it out of the zone. Lawrence, the center ice, finds Chabot as he'll dump it in. D'Amico gives chase. Eber gets it behind the net and plays it up towards Frado. Frado, cross ice pass, look for Dombrowski, but it was deflected by Cortapella. Finds Douglas. Douglas will chip it in. He'll gather his own puck. Gets knocked into the boards by Boyajian. Centering pass from Frado. Missed Dombrowski. Here's Lawrence at the top. Misplayed it. Dumps it in towards Dombrowski. It chips off his stick, and Kentucky will control and try to clear. Dombrowski kept his stick down, deflected that pass, but Kentucky still got it out. But Miami bringing it back in. Douglas, far side, dumps the puck in. He'll go off for a change. James picks it up behind the Kentucky net. Nate James crosses the center line. Chips the puck in deep to the opposite corner. He'll pick up his own puck. Send it out towards the slot. Nobody was there in black, so it's Dombrowski. Backhanding across to Cohen. Back towards Dombrowski. Looked for McCormick, but just overthrew him. Look for Miller as his shot was blocked out in front by Delaney. Kessing dumps the puck in. James will gather it behind the net as he'll take a shoulder from Kessing. Delaney chips it out of the zone, but it's played down by Miller. He'll get tripped up and taken down. Delaney sits in the box for two on a trip. Leads to the fifth Miami power play with 10:44 left. Could be a big-time momentum swing. Miami could only cash in on one power play goal in the 5 minutes they had to play with. And the sixth Kentucky penalty of the afternoon for the fifth Miami power play could be a dagger. Played in the corner, kicked out of the zone by Kentucky as Cohen will gather in the neutral zone. Skates it into his zone. Now he'll bring it back out. Splits the Kentucky defenders. Passes it across to Lawrence. Plays it back for Frado. Frado dances around Oborn. Cuts in. Trying to look for space. Tim Burke cuts him off. Frado will bring it back up top. Here's a rifling shot from Massey that's blocked by Allen. Cross pass to Frado. Back across looking for Massey. And it's turned over. Here comes D'Amico. Skating in, looking for a shorthanded chance. He'll shoot one just wide. Now it's tied up in the corner. 1:10 left on the power play chance for Miami. Here's Massey. Dumps it in, but takes a shoulder from Underwood. Tim Burke behind the goal. Threw it back to Underwood, but Underwood was trying to stand up and finally gets to it in the corner. It's dumped in low, and the whistle has blown. I think they called a hand pass think. Coach Clay Pergram, the color commentator for last night's OU Louisville game, asking what the call was. So the face-off looks to be to the right of Riley Allen. It's about where everybody's standing currently. It's where the linesman is standing, ready to drop the puck. So 9:38 left here in the third. With a 3-3 game. Miami has 54 seconds left on the power play. Chance. They win the draw. McCormick to Hartwell. Back across, looking for McCormick, but Dombrowski will get it over the near side. McCormick back up to Dombrowski, quickly across to Eber. Back to Dombrowski. Eber. Dombrowski near side. Skating in, shoots one off the leg pads of Riley Allen. It cleared down the zone. Kinzinger backhands it towards center ice. Almost taken by Chabot, but he got knocked out the puck by Dombrowski. He'll swipe at it and look to get it back to Eber. Here's Kelly with 18 seconds left on the power play. Chance for the Hawks. Allen sends the warning sound, so the power play is expiring. Chabot, touch pass to Cortapella, back across to Chabot. He dumps it in. And power play has expired for Miami as we're back to 5 aside. It's tied up in the corner as I think that's Kelly just absolutely just doubling over Chabot. Cortapella out to Kyle Burke. He'll shoot one just wide. Picked up by Delaney. He'll try to turn around and shoot it, but lost control of the puck, and Hartwell dumps it out of the zone. Here's Dombrowski. Kicks it off the near boards, dumps it down the length of the ice as Miami tries to quickly go for some changes and try to be sneaky. And it's an icing on the Hawks. And I believe Hartwell is done on the ice, so they at least got him off, being a little sneaky. So face off to the left of Kinzinger. One off to the side by Dombrowski. Kessing. Kicking it off the boards to Devine. Getting hounded by Costello. Costello trying to poke it away from him. He'll tie him up. It's played back behind Kinzinger. Taken briefly by Chinian, trying to spin away from Kessing. He tries to float it towards the hash marks, and it's kicked out by the Hawks. Here's Underwood. With 7:45 to play. Costello kicks it at the opposite corner. Chinian getting hounded by Lawrence. And it'll be Devine. Almost clearing out of the zone. It's played back down by Costello towards Chinian, who gets it into the corner. Here's Anderson. Cutting through the zone. Nobody has touched him until Tim Burke, the last Kentucky defender, finally got a piece of him. Because Anderson went untouched as that shot attempt by Lawrence deflects off the paddle of Allen and goes into the net and out of play. With 7:14 left to play here in the third period. Kentucky 3, Miami 3. Barreling down towards the final seconds of this period. And it's starting to feel like next goal wins. Oh, that one kicked off of Holtz in front of Allen off to the near side. Kentucky couldn't clear it out just yet. As they finally don't, as Rodriguez turns it over to Douglas. He'll shoot one off the backboards. Under 7 left to play. Tim Burke plays it back for Holtz. Plays it off the far side. Holtz can't clear it out of the zone. Dombrowski, his attempt was taken away by LaRue as an icing was waved off as Roddy got there in time. Rodriguez looking for an open space to shoot or to pass. Tim Burke was calling for it. Here's Boyajian firing one that's loose in the paint. LaRue shoots one that goes off the top of the crossbar and behind. Knoll to Rodriguez. Up to Boyajian, top of the faceoff circle. He'll come down towards Rodriguez. Back up to Boyajian. Across to Tim Burke. Back towards Boyajian, and it's knocked out of the zone. Kentucky battling to get into the offensive zone. Under 6 to play. 5:55. Miami deflecting it into the attacking zone. Boyajian on his horse. Trying to beat McCormick to the puck. He'll play to the opposite corner towards D'Amico. Tim Burke cuts off Hartwell. Chabot will take it over. Chabot lost the puck in the stick of McCormick. McCormick splits the defense and gets poked in the last second by Boyajian. Hartwell behind the net. Centers it up for Miller, and it's deflected wide by Allen. Here's Chabot trying to use the Jets. Cutting across the blue line, leaves it behind for Cortapella. He'll fire one that's kicked away by Kinzinger. D'Amico up top to James. Back to D'Amico, quickly up top to Kyle Burke. He'll shoot one that's deflected by Miller and out. 5 minutes left. Allen got it over to James. James banks it up to Cortapella. Cortapella trying to get away from Cohen. Left it out in front for D'Amico, and it was played wide by Fratto. 3-on-2 chance for the Hawks. Fratto to Dombrowski. Dombrowski wide open, shot is saved by Riley Allen. A backhanded chance by Fratto is kicked out of the air. Lawrence, one-timer, deflects into the chest of Allen and covered. .4:27 left. Face off to the left of Allen. Tied up on the draw. Douglas fires one into the chest of Allen and covered. So face off back to the left of Allen. It's Dombrowski. On for the draw. One off to the side by Oborn. Laube on the Jets, trying to beat Eber to the puck. Eber will try to race away from him as he collects. Poked away briefly by Laube. Kicked off the skates of Fratto and finds Lawrence as he clears it out. Played back down by Tim Burke. 4:05 left. Cross ice pass up to Fratto. Fratto trying to exit the defensive zone. And he does. He'll find Douglas as he'll chase after him. In comes Tim Burke as he'll cut him off. Tim Burke's getting down the near side. Takes a shoulder from Hartwell. Dumps the puck in. Cohen chasing after it. So will Delaney. Delaney takes it away. Now battling with Eber. Delaney skates up the far wall. Turns. Looks. Finds Holtz. Holtz will send a shot. That's saved by Kinzinger. 3:29 left here in the third period of the first semifinal game of the TSCHL Conference Tournament. Winner moves on to tomorrow's final at 4 p.m. Take on Ohio or Michigan. Chinian throws it to Boyajian, he'll dump it in. Quinn gets knocked into the boards, finds Boyajian. He'll send one into the chest of Kinzinger and covered. Miami has one conference tournament title in their last 4 appearances. Kentucky has never been to the conference tournament final. Miami ranked 4th, Kentucky ranked 5th. A win today by either team could mean a move up to the 3 seed. After Indiana's early loss, here's Knoll finding Rodriguez, but just missing him. Played back down by Kyle Burke as LaRue gets knocked into the boards by Cohen. LaRue trying to quickly get it off to Rodriguez. Rodriguez just got his pocket picked by Cohen. Played back down to Rodriguez from Boyajian. Boyajian, a one-timer, deflects in the legs as that one's just kicked away by Kinzinger. LaRue plays it off into the corner. Knoll bounces it back to LaRue. LaRue lost it off the side of the net. Kinzinger's glove will pop out and will cover with 2:35 left to play in the third. Now, saying Kentucky's never made it to the conference final, they've only been in the T for 3 years. So it's a little off-putting by saying they've never been. This is their third conference tournament. Their second semifinal. They lost last year in the semis to Ohio by a goal. They lost in the first round their first year to Ohio State. As Frotto throws that off of Allen. It's loose in the blue paint. It's finally cleared off to the side by Kentucky. 2:20 to play. Here's a chance for Douglas as somebody's stick goes flying in the air. And it's cleared out of the zone by Kentucky. Sent back down by Miami. Tim Burke collects to Underwood. Quickly up to Cortapello. He'll deflect it in. Eber will grab control. Up to Frotto. 2 minutes to play. Douglas skating in. Left behind for Dombrowski. Quickly across looking for Frotto, but it's deflected by D'Amico. D'Amico trying to race in. He'll throw the brakes on and will dump. And will cut back towards the bench. Lawrence left behind and lost it as Cortapello tried to cut it up, but he got poked by Eber. And that one is cleared out by the Hawks as Holtz dumps it off the opposite wall. 1:34. McCormick. Up to Miller. Gets sidestepped away from Holtz. Across to Hartwell. Wide open. Hartwell gets blocked by James. Here's a chance. Again. Cohen shooting one that's saved by Allen. A rebound chance. It's swallowed up. 1:16 left here in the third. 44 shots on goal for Kentucky. 37 for Miami. Kentucky has been getting the chances. Kinzinger playing one heck of a game. So is Riley Allen. At this point, it is next goal wins, whether it's now in the regulation or it's overtime. Tim Burke stands behind his netminder, gets it up to Delaney. They'll race around the goal. Plays it across into the neutral zones. Played down by Miller. A nice open ice hit from Delaney. And it's played right through the legs of Miller. Icing waved off as they'll say deflected off of him, which is correct. 52 seconds. Who will get the last chance? Here's Laube throwing it off the opposite wall as Kessing plays down to the zone. It plays off the skates of Massey. In comes Oborn as he takes it away. 35 seconds. Oborn. Kentucky just can't turn it over in their defensive zone. That's floated high through the air, bouncing to Eber, to Cohen. 23 seconds. Eber, outlet pass looking for Schweitzer and missed him. Played off to the side by Riley Allen. Oh boy. Underwood banks it up towards Chinian. Chinian trying to dive and kick it out of the zone, and he does. 8 seconds. Tim Burke banks it up off the boards to Cohen, and he will collect towards Eber. Eber will fly it up to Schweitzer, and regulation has come to a close. And we're going straight into overtime, I think. My, oh my, 10 minutes up on the board for overtime. Winner moves on to the conference final tomorrow. Kentucky had a 1-0 lead. Miami quickly scored. Kentucky had a 2-1 lead. Miami quickly scored. Kentucky took a 3-2 lead into the second intermission, and then Miami cashed in on their 5-minute power play to tie it up at 3. And that's where we have been for the last 18 minutes of game action. The 10 minutes are up on the board for OT. Kentucky, Miami, Kinzinger, Allen. This is going to be down to a wild finish. I said in pregame, both games these teams played this year were 1-goal games. This one shouldn't be any different. This is the second straight Miami-Kentucky game that has gone to OT. Allen to the left, Kinzinger to the right. It is 4-on-4 overtime. Cortapella, D'Amico, James, and Underwood. Dombrowski, Lawrence, Fratto, and Eber. The starting four for both here in OT. Fratto has the puck. Trying to skate around Underwood, gets launched into the boards as James will collect a loose puck. Left it behind for D'Amico. Now left behind for Cortapella. Center ice. Cuts in. He'll look. Fires one that deflects into the netting and out of play. As Cortapella drawing the ire of Fratto. As Cortapella took a couple of pushes from Fratto. You know you're doing something when you get under somebody's skin that bad in overtime. It'll be Dombrowski and Cortapella on for the draw to the left of Kinzinger. One off to the side by Miami. Eber plays it up the near wall. Dombrowski tries to clear it out of the zone. He'll play it back behind the goal to Eber. Up to Lawrence. Drop back for Dombrowski. Dombrowski cuts in, shoots and scores! Gabe Dombrowski, the OT winner, as Miami defeats Kentucky and will move on to the conference final tomorrow afternoon. Dombrowski was the Kentucky killer in the October series, scoring 4 goals in 2 games. He was quiet most of this game, but wasn't quiet when it mattered most as he gets one past Riley Allen, and the Hawks move on to the final. OT winner, 54 seconds in. From the leading goal and point scorer, the freshman Gabe Dombrowski. What a game, though, in this semifinal, and what a game tonight's semifinal will be between Michigan and Ohio, a pair of North teams, as Michigan upset Indiana yesterday, and we will have a new conference tournament champion crowned tomorrow. But the boys over at Indiana Hockey's broadcasting network will have that game. They will also have tomorrow's championship final. And I will sign off from this one. Miami defeats Kentucky in overtime 4-3 and move on to tomorrow's final. Congrats to the Hawks. Good luck tomorrow. And for myself, I'm Gage Odell signing off. And at some point, I'll see you all down the line.